It's so nice to be back. And instead of having a cute little sappy introduction, let's jump straight into it. So today's Pokemon is Eevee, and this is the recipe to get an encounter power and sparkling power. So 2 sweet herba mysticas, lettuce, tomato, onion, hamburger, and 2 tofu. You can also add butter if you're doing this recipe with another person. But essentially what you'll want to do now is you'll want to open your map, go to your time settings, and press OK at the exact same time, and keep doing so until you get an Eevee outbreak. And because Eevee's outbreak I've seen takes a little bit of time, you'll want to do it repeatedly. So after you've knocked out the 60 in the outbreak, you'll want to set your picnic up in a really nice spot where you'll be able to see all the Eevee spawn in. And then I click home twice. That way I can magnify my view and see all the Eevee spawn in. If I don't see my beautiful silver fox, then I just rinse and repeat and continue until I do. And like I said, you could do this recipe with another friend. The one person who has less resources, they can simply just use 1 lettuce and 1 butter, and the other person uses the rest, and just like that, you'll get the same effect. Fortunately, I was able to get my beautiful silver fox. I named her Zerus, which I did have to encounter a lot of shinies until I actually got the female. And what's the best way to represent her than in a gym battle? And I decided to choose Brassius today because the grass town is very beautiful, and obviously I want to catch this Eevee in the best light possible. So because of that, Brassius will be my opponent. And after his adorable, nice dialogue where he intimidates all of us by jumping off an extremely high windmill, we will enter this battle. And I am using 2 Pokemon for this strategy, because the highlight that I will be focusing on is Eevee's skill, Copycat, which, as you guys might know from other content, Copycat is extremely powerful and volatile because Copycat is essentially anything. It's a same round mimic, for lack of better terms, and it's just extremely powerful. So, jumping straight into this battle, I will start off with Slowking because they will be essential in making this Eevee the star of the show. So they start off with this adorable little Petalil, and I really do love Petalil so much. So out comes Slowking, and first round, what I will want to do is use Yawn. So that way the next round, they'll either fall asleep or force a switch out, which is extremely great when it comes to setting up, because then that puts your opponent in a situation that requires them to change their plan. So, first round, Yawn, and this round I'm just gonna, kill the round, so do slack off, distract myself. And then this Petalil decided to use Sleep Powder, which fortunately it did miss. And it just shows that Brassius has a lot of training to do for this Petalil. So now that Petalil is asleep, this is when you'll want to do Belly Drum, because Petalil will not be able to do anything this round, which means that Belly Drum is the last skill that was used in this round. And if you can guarantee that your opponent would be asleep for at least 2 rounds, you'll successfully be able to do this setup. So out comes the star of the show, Zerus. And now that she's out, Petalil will still be asleep in this round, so she won't be able to do anything. And if you've made it this far, assuming Eevee is faster than your opponent, then you can do Copycat. And just like that, you just did Copycat Belly Drum on Eevee. So you're maxed out in attack, and Xerxes' ability is adaptability. So Stab does ×2 instead of 1.5. So all of Eevee's normal attacks do way much more damage. Sleep Powder fortunately missed, so Xerxes did not go to sleep. And at this point, with 6 attack, you can literally just one-shot everything that comes your way, assuming you're able to outspeed them. So Quick Attack takes down this poor little Petalil. and Eevee will be ready for whoever who comes out next. So out comes Scarlet. And what I decided to do this round is to show you guys how beautiful a shiny Eevee looks terrestrialized. And obviously, Eevees come with normal type terrestrialized. So you get to see this beautiful, expensive diamond appear on this beautiful silver fox. Another one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to get a shiny Eevee. Because I'm not gonna lie, I really do like matching the shiny color to the Terra type. I don't know why. That's exactly why I have the chunk with fairy type, but anyways, coming back to the subject, quick attack, terrestrialize, brings out Scarlet, and Brassius is just left with his last Pokemon, which will be Sudowoodo, which is Game Freak's adorable way of showing us that Sudowoodo is low-key a grass type. So out comes this mimicking tree, and it's just no match for me at all. And even though our levels are not that different, it can't possibly throw anything my way that I won't be able to beat. He calls it truly Wudo. That's pretty questionable, so I'm just gonna skip past all of that. This beautiful animation comes out, and now Sudowoodo has realized its inner desires and became a full-blown grass-type tree. So at this point, I decided to do a beautiful covet, the little hearts, the terrestrialize effect, everything. So now Sudowoodo is down to 1 HP, and now Brassius gets to show us what his little Terra-type grass damage does. So out comes Trailblaze, and I take an adorable little chip damage, but it's no use, because now I can just destroy him. So I decided to do Copycat, just to flex the diamond 360. And just like that, down goes Sudowoodo, and Brassius just got this L handed to him. GG. Ultimately, I did want to use Last Resort for Eevee because, as you know, Last Resort is one of the strongest normal attacks that doesn't have any recoil or any rest that same round, so you can keep using it almost indefinitely till you run out of PP. So now, Brassius takes this wonderful selfie with me since, we were able to defeat him. And now I'm going to show you guys the same strategy online. So, jumping onto the Smogon world, Slowking comes out versus this Vespiquen owned by Ash899. Seems like we took it back to Gen 5. And because Vespiquen is slow and I was able to set up my yawn, she falls asleep the next round and I was able to do belly drum. So now once Zerus comes right back out, I can do Copycat once more, set myself up very nicely, and if Vespiquen had woken up and attacked me, that would have been the end of Zerus, but because that didn't happen, I can just last resort without any complications. This next round, I wanted to show you guys the same strategy but in doubles. It requires a little bit more setup, but it's very much possible. So you'll start off with Earthworm and Murkrow. Murkrow's only purpose is to do Tailwind, that way Eevee gains her speed boost. And Earthworm's only job is to essentially land a Shed Tail, so that way Eevee can come out set up. I did pack a Murkrow with Eject Pact, so that way I do want Murkrow to get hit, so that way they get switched out first round. Because after Tailwind, Murkrow really doesn't have any more use for me at that round. So now that Slowking is slow, I do equip Slowking with Iron Ball, that way the speed boost from Tailwind is negated, thus making it slower. So now Belly Drum was the very last skill used, which means now I get to use Belly Drum. If Lycanroc had used Accelerock, that would have ruined my strategy, but fortunately that did not happen. Substitute takes that damage, and I am just ready to defeat everyone. Group Bond, its main purpose, could be replaced by Togekiss or Tangrowth, anyone who has Rage Powder, After You, Follow Me, anything that just diverts attention from Zerus. So as you can see, I'm just one-shotting everybody. Greninja, being an ice type, does its Icy Wind, which did quite a bit of damage based on his adorable little setup, but it's no use because I'm able to just one-shot, and Turtletube Pokemon has had to return to his Pokeball. In this battle, I will highlight that it's not always belly drum, something that you have to use, but you're able to use your opponent's moves if used correctly. So we begin our setup as we normally do, and we can easily see that Zerus has been brought out safely, and both Espeon and Poltergeist are setting up, which I kind of anticipated. So instead of switching out Murkrow, I decided to do Haze to remove all of it because it can be very dangerous. Psychic is negated by Protect, and Poltergeist uses its Shell Smash. But as you can see here, Shell Smash was the last skill used, and all these Pokemon switch out. So now, fortunately, I can copycat Shell Smash, and now we got Shell Smash Eevee on deck and ready to strike. Baton Pass gets used, and out comes Hydreigon. And because I still have one more round of Tailwind, Zerus is the fastest on the stage, and I'm able to one-shot this Hydreigon, which realistically scared Amanita Verosa in her tracks, and she decided to forfeit. In this battle, I just want to highlight that Eevee is powerful even without Belly Drum and Shell Smash. And honestly, I've always thought of either Pokemon like Pikachu or Eevee, those very well liked ones, that they carry a bit of plot armor. So I feel like this match kind of highlights that, but that's just my own personal opinion. So we do our shut tail strategy, and this actually highlights one of the caveats as well, because as you will see, despite having Tailwind active, Eevee is still unfortunately slower than both Iron Bundle and Meowscarada. So we do Belly Drum, and this next round I am supposed to do Copycat, which I do, but as you saw, Iron Bundle is just unbelievably fast, so I'm not able to execute that right. And now Zerus is left out in the open in a very dangerous spot because she's still an adorable little Eevee that can get damaged. But fortunately, we come in with some serious damage. Last resort, Terastalize takes out this Iron Bundle. And now Eevee is just ready to attack. No buffs, nothing too power her other than plot armor. So out comes Toxapex, and Dreadnought just decides to set up because Dreadnoughts like breaking their shells. Last Resort does roughly about 50% HP to Toxapex, which is really great considering Toxapex is very tanky, and this is just a regular Eevee at the end of the day. Protect, that way I can just body press and delete this Dreadnought. And I did protect from Toxic, fortunately. So out comes Espatra, and I decide let's do some serious damage, because typically most Espatras love to set up. So we bring her down to 5%, and Rock Slide finishes that. So Zerus once more just proves how strong she is. So now that Meowscarada comes back into the playing field, I know more than likely it's going to try to target me, which it does, and doesn't work to my benefit. So Body Press destroys it, and now Decusk Rublord is left with both Toxapex and Grafaiai. And now it seems like the cards are stacked against her, and Zerus wins the day. But I want to say thank you so much for bearing with me and my lengthy wait times to upload videos. You guys mean so much to me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content, and I can't wait to keep posting more for y'all.